by Dan Deary, proudly serving the Cedar Valley for 3 generations.
We're talking UNI Panther football, a homecoming game against 14th ranked North Dakota. The Panthers fell 35-7, and it starts a stretch of 5 straight ranked opponents as the Panthers get into Missouri Valley Football Conference play. And Coach, I know the crowd was huge, over 12,000 announced for in attendance. The energy was fantastic at the start of the football game. The homecoming crowd was there, and felt like that defense, too, coming up with a blocked field goal on North Dakota's first possession, really seemed to turn everything in UNI's way.
Yeah, you know, you always love starting with the positives, and that was a huge, I guess, uplifting moment. You know, the dome being packed, you know, just seeing everybody come back for homecoming was really neat. And again, that being my first homecoming here was pretty special too. But everything from, you know, all the time leading up to the game, to the kickoff, to really, that first half, you know, there was a lot of positives we can build on. I think special teams, just in general, like, you know, so obviously the block field goal you mentioned, but, you know, they were, you know, going into the game, the top return team in the country, and, you know, that did not show up, you know, so I think, you know, if you had to look at, you know, probably the brightest spot, you know, the environment, you know, this dome has lived up to the name and the dome dominance as far as just a tough place to play in a great environment, and then special teams continue to get better.
Jalen Pettis came up, getting his hand on the football, blocked that punt. Ensuing drive of the Panthers would end up turning it over. Scheckelman fumbled it away, returned for a touchdown for North Dakota to score the first points of the game. But the Panther defense kind of responded, created a fumble of their own. Talk about that back and forth of a couple early turnovers.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we've struggled with is responding in the face of adversity. And early in the game, we did a good job of that. You know, so you kind of hit on it to where, boy, you know, we let them march down the field, you know, and then the response of, hey, you know, letting them in the end zone, no, we're gonna force them to a field goal, and then we're gonna try to block it. And then, shoot, man, offensively, that first drive, I mean, it's first down. We're really doing a nice job of moving it, and then, you know, just kind of a hanging on to the ball a little bit too long. You know, trying to throw it at the last second. You know, their guy does a great job of getting his hand on the ball, and of course, the ball just one hop bounces right up, and away they go for a touchdown. But then again, flip the script. Not a ton of negativity going on. The defense stands up, forces a fumble of their own. But then, you know, offensively, I think that's you know, we need to take the next step as far as being able to capitalize on the good, and then being able to bounce back from the bad.
Second quarter, Scheckelman threw an interception as well. The offense has those drives, Coach, where they're moving it, and just can't finish drives. How do you guys kind of look at it, or what are you trying to pinpoint with the offense?
You know, it does come down to fundamentals, to be honest. You know, if you look at, you know, some of the minuses that we give up, it's bad first step, it's poor hand placement, you know, it's a bad, you know, missed assignment or a targeting issue, or it's a dropped pass, you know, and that's, you know, you've seen them make 100 times, you know. I mean, we converted over 50% of our third downs, which again, you know, their defense was holding teams to less than 30%, which is a really good rate. But man, just for whatever reason, we just can't get out of our own way at times. But yeah, I think the more we play, the more confidence that we have, the more that we, you know, can look in the mirror and believe in ourselves that, hey, you know, just because we had that drop pass, we have the ability to make up for that in the next play. I think we're going to be fine. But we got a big test this weekend.
Yeah, big test coming up at number 2 South Dakota State. Coach, at halftime against North Dakota, it was just 14-0. The defense really just gave up a field goal try, which ended up being blocked, and then one touchdown in that first half. At halftime, how did you grade that defense?
I thought the first half they played great, you know, but you know, it's never as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems. So if you look at the statistics at the end of the day, I mean, the great teams know how to run the ball and they know how to stop the run. And, you know, we gave up almost 7 yards a carry, you know. So, I mean, you know, I want to give them some pats on the back, but at the same time, you know, there's definitely some things that we need to do better of. So whether it's the simple fundamentals of taking great angles of the ball and tackling, or knowing what we're supposed to do, where my fit is, where my help is, am I a force defender, am I a spill defender, like all those things. When we would give up a run of 12 or a run of 14, that was the issue. It wasn't a talent thing. It was just more of a design flaw or an execution flaw.
35-7 was the final. The Panthers turn the page, look forward to number 2 South Dakota State. We'll have more with UNI head coach Todd Stepsis coming up right after this.